And we're live. Welcome to Introduction to the Knowledge Aware Certification Program. So glad you're joining us for our final session of the day. It's going to be awesome. We have Tim Glau, Engineering Specialist, Knowledge Management from Caterpillar and IKAA Board Member, and Marcus Fisher, VP of Engineering from ZF, TRW, and IKAA Board President. I'll let them go forth and conquer.
Thank you so much, Amy, for the introduction. I'm really happy, to be here at the conference as the IKA board president, because looking at this one, looking what we built over the years, that's really great. And looking at the first presentation this morning from Jeff, with the big picture and the expanding of the knowledge aware concept, I'm really happy, to present to you right now the introduction of the knowledge aware certification program. Because that's really something we are working on as a board, and I also want to thank my fellow board members. That's Brittany, Wendy Lange, Jeff Moffa, and Tim here with me that made this one happen. If we go to the next slide, then we see right now the presentation what we want to talk about today. The one is value of knowledge, the traditional approach of knowledge, then the knowledge aware concept. I think you heard a lot about this one, but I'm still very excited about this concept. And that's the reason why we also founded the AKAA, and then the certification program itself. If you go to the next page, I want also to tell you a little bit about my background. I'm in the automotive industry for over 30 years and spent my time in Europe, in the US, and in Japan. And as you see here, I was very early involved, in training teams, in building up teams, and coming up with ideas, and always struggled with the same, sustainability of knowledge. How do we do this one? Lessons learned, how to capture those. And for sure, at the beginning of my career, I wrote some design handbooks and things like this because I didn't know any better. And when I saw the knowledge aware concept, I'm still really excited. And that's why we found the IKAA. And with this one, I want to go also over to the next one, to the poll. And that's the question right now we have out here. To what degree does your organization prioritize knowledge? I don't know if the poll comes up, so I'm looking for it. Hold on. It should be on the right side in your active poll in the poll bottom, so please use this one. And we will see the results. I don't see them yet.
Yeah, let's find, Marcus, I'll work on finding out if we can get your poll going here.
Okay, but then we keep going with this one, because that would really the leadway into the knowledge. Tim, if you can change the slide, or my computer is very slow. This one comes really, the knowledge is the value of an entity. I think we heard it the whole day, that this one is really one of the essence, if we have an organization where we value knowledge, where we look into this one, and that is really what we know, what we use and how we use it. That's really the treasure box of each organization and of each company. And that is really the knowledge, that we have to achieve, where we have to go. And how to harvest it and how to provision it to each entity, to each little work package, to make us better, to make it consistent, and to validate our knowledge. And to look back, over my career, over the 30 years and what we've done, if you go to the next page, then you see really the legacy approach, and I also use the same legacy approach, I think, than everybody else. That is really the document-centered approach, the people-centric approach, or the model-centric approach. And, we struggled with it, we tried it. And that's the reason why we apply right now and why we learned about the knowledge aware approach. And that's for me, in my function, with 30 years of experience, that's really a step change. That's really a change, we have to live up to, because we have structured knowledge packages. We provision knowledge at the right time, at the right place, and we make it valid, over time. And with this one right now, coming back to the big picture and to the expanding community we have, as a board, we came also together and said, yes, right now we started it, we work on it. How do we get this one together? How can we do this one? And that's really where the idea came up with the knowledge certification program. And if you go to the next page. Really, we wanted to make sure that we build up a tool, a certification that gives you the toolbox, that gives you the right things, in your organization to be trained and prepared, that you can apply knowledge aware, that you really have the toolbox in your hands, that you can hit the ground running. I mean, right now, over the last years, when I look back, we tried different things, but right now I think we have a method that we want to bring to paper. I mean, we published the white paper, we published the maturity model, and right now it's the right time to start with the certification program. And this one will enable you and will help you, in the shortest amount of time to be value to your organization, to help to answer the most questions, we built up over the years, and really to be a value to the organization, transform your organization. And therefore we came up, with the idea of a certification, with a kind of toolbox we want to give you to be successful right now after you finish the certification and hit the floor running, and be really the go-to person in your organization to be the mentor in the end, or the transformer for this knowledge-aware concept. And with this one, I would like to give over to Tim, because he put a lot of time and thoughts in it, and my fellow board member and his experience will show you where we want to take it. Tim, please.
No, thanks a lot, Marcus, and I appreciate how you've laid the groundwork for certification here. I think our board meetings have been very successful due to that, and I also want to thank you for mentioning knowledge as a value of entity there. I'll want to expand that here in a minute, but for myself, for a number of years now, I've been working within the nexus of engineering, design, and knowledge, everywhere from a drafting board to KBE application development to integration, advanced planning to knowledge management. And I love what I do, and I appreciate being able to work in the area where my passion exists within. So Steve Jobs said the only way to do great work is to love what you do. And so it's a combination of what you're skilled at, what you're passionate about, and what you get paid for. If you feel positive about all three, then you will more than likely be on the road to happiness and balance in your life. So being a self-proclaimed knowledge-aware futurist, for me, knowledge touches a skills, passion in my current job role at Caterpillar, and I'm grateful to have this opportunity to discuss this IKA certification thought with you. So at the start, I would want to thank you for attending today's informational here, and I ask that you please provide us with feedback, either through the polling questions that we're providing or afterwards if you weren't able to get your questions answered by other means. This feedback to us is important. It's to ensure that the IKA has the right content that you can use when you're, as we more formalize the certification plans going forward. I also don't want to forget our IKA sponsors either, Synaqua and AROS. Both provide excellent tools for unstructured and structured knowledge, whether that knowledge is predefined for provisioning or fully unknown. I would suggest that you go take a look at Synaqua. You can find them at www.synaqua.com, SINEQUA. I see their technology to be helpful in the broad-based query search returns for previously unknown knowledge sets. Synaqua is helpful in that it really looks in on the information-driven decision-making areas. Now, AROS also is another long-term sponsor of the IKA. You can find them at www.arosks.com. And I believe they established a neat platform capabilities, proximity search, and techniques for knowledge delivery and provisioning. So I just want to first thank you, both Synaqua and AROS, for sponsoring this conference. I am sure that if we were all in the same room together, we would give you both a standing ovation and appreciation. All right, so tools like AROS and Synaqua are becoming more important, and that they are addressing what I see as the cognitive loading problem. Now, as is mentioned in a May 2016 Wall Street Journal article, knowledge work jobs have doubled over the last 30 years. Cognitive load can be defined as the resource demand to process knowledge and information on the brain's working memory. So we have this increase and cognitive load. And I think everybody can agree that as we get more sophisticated with our technologies, as we start moving to more advanced, conceptual things within engineering design and in the areas that we're working, it's becoming increasingly more important that we leverage the tools, whether it be analytics or knowledge delivery tools like AROS or what Seneca can provide. It's becoming more and more important that we're able to not only use these tools, but also that we're able to have a more full understanding as far as what our processes need to be, the concepts and the methods that we use to be consistent to successful outcomes. So in my thought here, a couple GIFs that I put together is that, our brains can only process so much, right? And as we get presented with all this kind of information, more and more as time goes on, if I have, I don't know, like 20 different tools that I'm using, and now, somebody's coming to me and saying, well, I need you to actually use this more, maybe 2 or 3 more tools in addition to that, it becomes really overwhelming at some point. And that's what's kind of happening. We're having a fracturing or a dissemination of more and more technologies that are uniquely in unique areas. And so to have some sort of a way to say where it makes sense to do so, can we start pre-evaluating some of these ideas and bring to the ones and kind of weed out the ones maybe that are like very basic in what we'd say, I would never choose that option. Start to think a little bit more about that, to bring in the things that really have merit, those ideas or those concepts, or to provision into that decision-making context, the right and the the best information possible for those moments. So I want to ask another polling question here. So the first one was on organization. This one's more unique to you. If I was to ask you, to what degree do you feel prepared to administer knowledge-aware techniques today? How would you answer this question? Would you, you may want to be at a point where I'm just beginning and I desire to learn more, all the way to you might even be able to instruct folks on these concepts, on these techniques right now. So if you could please take a look at those questions, go out to the quick polls. We can then maybe get, are we able to do that yet, Amy? Or?
Yeah, so Tim, what I found out was it sounds like you need to click on that link in order to share the results. So maybe we could do this one, possibly even go back to the other one if we have time or whatever, but start with this one probably. Okay. Yeah.
All right, let's start with this one. Thank you for informing me on how that works.
Sure.
So I'll go ahead and click the link. There we go.
So then right now, you're
screen
sharing, so I don't know if it would be a matter of having to screen share another, window or tab that would come up with the results. But,
okay.
Just we have it.
Let's go ahead and show that.
Let's go.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Okay.
All right. So we're kind of like, we have some practical experience a little bit more, or we feel like, we're kind of on the beginning stages of that a little bit here. Yep, good. I'm really happy to see that we're about 1 out of 5 of you are saying that you can maybe even train on this. This is really what we're looking for. It gives us kind of an idea on maybe how to pattern or put focus in on what we need to train. So we can definitely take this information back and study it. That's great. All right, thank you. Do we have time if I can go back and do the other one real quick? Would that be acceptable, Amy?
Yeah, I think so. And then we have a note that survey results can also be seen on the survey tab on attendees screen to the right side. Yeah, Dave had said that they could actually see the results on their end. So maybe that means they've already seen the results. Is that what that must mean? Dave must, they may have already seen the results from the first poll then.
Oh, okay. Well, since I have it here, let me just go ahead and and show you that. So.
Right. The results now. Yeah.
Yeah, so what this is showing here from the organization's readiness perspective, that more than half of you out there feel that you're really putting knowledge to work already, and that's great. That shows that you're here because you're wanting to learn more about the techniques and maybe the intricacies of how to even do it better. So that's fantastic. All right, let me go back to where we were. All right, so on here, got that answer. So we want to learn through this training, this curriculum that we're putting together for certification. We really want to learn cognitive load reduction techniques. That's what we're trying to do here. And so what it looks like is it says that we're able to recognize and reduce decision-making risks. Very important key concept here. Be able to apply knowledge-aware techniques, and then able to measure, after it's all said and done, measure the effectiveness of the applied knowledge. So in my thought here, whenever you do a process definition and you're trying to capture a process, here's the one thing that I find that many teams maybe lose sight of or really don't describe. These arrows between the steps in a process, the arrows between the activities that you're doing tend to hardly ever or even at all get defined. The arrows are just as important as the process steps. And so when we talk about the knowledge that gets delivered from an upstream part of the process into the downstream, we want to better understand the arrows for knowledge stream on the knowledge that's being readied for reuse as it's getting consumed downstream. At the same time, we also want to be looking at the feedback as well. And so the feedback is just as important, because as it's being consumed, and you might have been last year's presentation where you saw that I talked about the red and the green delta of whether or not what's being delivered is meeting expectations or it's different than what we expected. And that feedback from a consumer perspective of that downstream activity, which is consuming what the upstream is delivering, to learn and to get feedback in a closed loop format back to that upstream is very valuable for them. So that the next time when I'm delivering, I'll have a better understanding on what it is that I'm delivering and what's really working or not working. And this is where continuous improvement comes. This is where, if we can do this early and often enough and quick enough, we can start to reduce the warranty downstream. We can start to reduce the rework that we might be seeing downstream as well, and be able to have better quality deliveries. These things, and defining the arrows, on defining and reducing decision-making risks, applying the knowledge-aware techniques and measuring these things and being able to show how you can actually measure this is all what the certification is about. So what we have in plan for 2021, and this has been discussed at the board level and we're looking for your feedback on, is that we would like to develop and put together some opportunities for you to get certified on these techniques. That's just to make sure that you're able to do the things that, the best of what we know as all of us together being brought, as far as the techniques, things like what Jeff Mayhew brought forward, things like what our General Motors and some of our other teams that are participating in, so our customers are saying, how can we bring all that together so we can make sure that we're doing things in the best way possible, and we're sharing that. So building our knowledge-aware skill set through fundamentals training, and then giving you the ability to connect with subject matter experts and industry-based professionals in these spaces and having opportunities and seminars for that. We're also thinking about going a little bit further. Soon after, we're looking to develop a professional track as well. So one thing I've always thought of is that, and really to get the concepts down, it's really helpful that if you're able to get some firsthand experience. So in my mind, if you're able to even bring some home projects that you might have from your companies, from your organizations, and bring them into a session, and we work on those specific to the things that you develop solutions for your customers, that would really help you get the concepts even further and be able to apply that and even take those learnings back to your organizations as well. So that's what this professional track is about. And then getting to this level of getting advanced topics and being able, if you feel you're at that instructor level, making sure that you have all the tools and techniques that are in your wheelhouse related to advanced topics on this. We'd like to work a little bit more on that, but we'll be looking to doing that as well. Lowering the decision-making risks within your organization is the key concept here, and that's where your value is going to be generated from. So I think this is getting to my last slide here. So the knowledge-aware certification. So what I like to say here is we want to develop certifications so that you can become a change agent within your company and that you'll be the recognized expert in the aerospace between the process. So the process, the knowledge flows, the knowledge delivery and provisioning mechanisms, being able to work with tools like what Synaqua or what AROS provides, being able to be the champion for your process in combination with these tools is what we're looking to do. So identifying knowledge provision opportunities, the knowledge-aware techniques will be understood and the tools that benefit your organizations, and then being able to measure that value effectiveness. And then the last one also is just to be able to implement the knowledge-aware process within your organization. You'll be known as the resident expert for those things. So benefits that you'll get with certification also include things like being connected with other professionals who are being certified as well, getting into a consortium with them, so you can kind of share ideas back and forth with each other, especially as we develop new cutting-edge knowledge delivery methods. I'm sure the space is very interesting from where knowledge management is being put on its head and is taking and going forward. There's a lot of interesting new cutting-edge knowledge delivery methods that we're learning every day. And so we'd like to make sure that we have that, I guess, that where everybody kind of comes together and is able to get access to these things. It's very important. You can find more information about this at kacertification.org. We'll be able to hopefully answer some questions now if we have that opportunity, but I'd like to do one more polling question. So this polling question is, based on what we've shown you today, do you feel, to what degree do you feel that you would have interest in becoming knowledge-aware certified? So we have three options here to choose from. So let's go ahead and do that polling question. And I will click the link so we can take a look at that. All right. So more coming in here. We have 58 votes, but we do have a few that say that I can make use of some knowledge-aware techniques today. And you do have some practical experience. That's fantastic. And you can even instruct others. That's great. So that's the wrong one, it looks like, huh? Let's see if I can.
Yeah, I was wondering.
That's the wrong one. What happened there?
Maybe you just
maybe I had the wrong link, but hopefully, yeah, I clicked this link here, but maybe it's the wrong link. So if you could please take a look out there. I guess you have access to that.
Yeah, and I just did see, Tim, multiple tabs open, so I just wondered if maybe another tab would reveal the results on your end. Could try it.
Okay. We'll try it one more time. Okay, I'll click the link. No, I'm getting the same response. So maybe it's just a bad link.
Is in the chat. I am getting word. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to let you know that the attendees are seen and individuals can see the results in the poll questions, Darren says. And, okay. Hey, do you see the message from Brittany on the right in the chat? She says, here's the correct link.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you want to copy and paste that, then I think we could share it with everyone on your screen.
All right, well, let's take a look.
Yeah.
There's
so many things to juggle.
Somehow I am not Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, Gabriella
Not
is
having it here.
she isn't seeing the new poll on her end. So I'm getting messages people are typing in, so I'll see what they're saying. Oh, can I just read the results out? Sure, no problem. I will do that. Let me copy and paste
That'd be
them.
great.
Sounds good. Sounds good. What a great idea. Okay, to what degree do you feel you would have interest in becoming Knowledge Aware certified? 42.6%, I would have interest in being Knowledge Aware certified. 46.3%, I have a moderate degree of interest, but like to learn more. 11.1%, thanks, but no thanks. So that's pretty good.
All right. Well, thank you for giving us that verbally. I apologize that the link isn't correct, but hopefully we'll get that corrected before we send out. Maybe we'll even have some results with the presentation. So.
I think.
All right. So I think. Go ahead.
No, Tim, I think that was a very
Marcus?
good overview, you know, what we want to do. And once again, whoever is here at this presentation went through the same struggle, for sure. We have our board members, you know, we have also members in the IKAAs that signed up, but also from you, we have all the contacts right now out there. Please, you know, if you see something what you want to see in a certification, for sure, we put a lot of time and work into this one. We want to share our knowledge. We want to put it in the right place. But for sure, it's nothing, you know, without the members. It's nothing without colleagues, with friends, with people that join this conference, you know, to share their knowledge, also with us, so that we get the right certification together. Because I'm still, as I said before, I strongly believe that this knowledge-aware principle is really a step change in how we do work today, and that's the reason why I really want to get the certification program up and running together with the colleagues, with input, you know, from experts, so that we can really provide something, you know, to the community, you know, to you, that makes it just easier, you know, to be successful in the field and to make your company and your area of business more successful. And that's the reason why I'm very thankful and very glad, you know, to see the polls, to see the poll results, because it seems that we are on the right track, and that we create value that will be consumed and that it's necessary in this field of expertise. So thanks very much for the polls and the participation from my side.
Excellent. So with that, I don't see any questions. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up and tell everyone that we want you to join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, right back here. You will see the schedule on the screen, just like you had been today. You'll go to those same sort of links. I'm just putting up a slide there so you have a visual reminder in bright orange to come join us tomorrow. And we just had some great interaction today. We really appreciate you participating and jumping in. I know there were a few challenges, but we will have the presentation decks available afterwards. So if you did have any trouble seeing some of the text, I know a couple folks said that, then please don't delay in coming back to join us with that. So we'll start right at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and we'll be chock full of presentations again, including Spirit Aerosystems, General Motors, ABS, and more from Oros. And don't forget to connect with others. Please click on that community icon, the people icon, the community text, and you can chat with others. Go see the virtual booths now. They're open. They'll be open tomorrow morning, and before, during, and after all of our sessions. You can chat or video chat with the sponsors. And we will have another prize drawing tomorrow. So we look forward to seeing you. We hope you have a great rest of your day. See you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. Bye, everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Appreciate it.